Welcome back to the latest episode of the Key and Mang Audio Experience. I'm your host, Mang, as always, joined by my fellow co-host, Key. Key, what's good?
What's up? How are you?
I'm good, can't complain. How are you?
I'm good. I'm lovely.
Great. How it should be. Coming into the new year. And if you heard our last couple episodes, we just did a year review. So now we're about to look into the future. And the question is, what do you personally have planned for your future and how you're going to get there? So on this episode, we're going to do a deep dive into our process of creating our own goals and what they are. So Key, your 2023 goals, what you got?
Okay. First things first, I want to pay off a credit card that I put some business coaching expenses on earlier in 2022, like mid 2022. Um, that's one of my goals financially. I'm gonna keep all my investments and stuff the same. And so that handles my financial goals. When it comes to my fitness and my health, at least physical health, I'm gonna commit to 4 lifts a week, which has been working for me so far. That was a bit of an adjustment because this was like the first full year or a little over a year I was out of school. So when I was in school, I was working out a lot more than I am now. I was doing like 6 days a week. Now all the stuff I have going on, 4 days seems to work for me. So I'm gonna commit to 4 days a week, and that'll get me to my goal of at least 200 days of the year working out. I think it'll get me to like 208. So anything above 4 is just a bonus. I'm looking to hit 4 every week. My personal goal is I have three of them. I want to journal 4 days a week. You notice a lot of my goals are 4 a week because when I work out, I also feel like I'm more consistent with my journaling that day. So I want to journal 4 days a week. I want to read one book a month, and I think you and I are doing that together. And I want to read 40 pages a week, which equates to like 10 pages a day. I think that's very doable for me because some days I might read 20 pages, some days I might read five. I think 40 pages in a week or 10 pages a day is very feasible for me. Business wise, I want to do $2,500 a month, and that's not including course sales. So I mean like $2,500 a month for clients. Um, then I want to go live every 2 weeks at the least. So I've been doing like picking a topic and breaking it down into a series and giving people like action steps to help them get started on their goals as the year goes on. I'm sure that my ideas for lives will expand, but for now, that's kind of what I'm thinking. Live every 2 weeks, and then that allows me to repurpose my lives for content, which brings me to my newsletter goal. Is I want to send at least one email to my newsletter subscribers a week. That's 4 a month. And then the goal of going live also allows me to repurpose that for content on my new Instagram, new TikTok page that I'm releasing in 2023. So I want to do 3 posts a week on there. All of that is leading to my bigger goal of expanding like my lifting for women community and expanding my target audience and eventually really growing my clientele. So if I do all those things, I think that my end goal will be accomplished. So instead of focusing on the big goal, I chop them down to little steps I can do on a weekly and monthly basis that will eventually get me to the goal. I realize if you focus on the process, then naturally the outcome is likely to come. So that's what I'm going to do. And then for the podcast, continue with 1 episode a week, posting at least 3 reels a week, and possibly hiring somebody to do the social media posting and possibly creation because me managing my personal Instagram, podcast, my Keep It Fit, and then the listing for women page is getting very overwhelming, and I need to decrease the amount of time I'm spending on social media. So um, that's one goal that's kind of up in the air, but definitely on my mind.
I like that. All different aspects of your life, whether it's work, personal health, that are going to contribute to, like you said, building for the future and what you're trying to build. So I really like that. I had one question though. For people who also have an online business, you said you want to make $2,500 a month as your target. How do you come up with reaching your number and not having it be too small or having it be too big. Because I feel like sometimes people will be like, aim big, you are gonna make 10K months or 20K months or whatever. Like, how do you know whether your number is a good like a reasonable number that you could hit or potentially exceed?
The way I did it was, like I talked about on the year in review, I hit a 1K month, at least half the year. So I feel like if I was to say 1K again, I'd pretty much be playing it small, but I also don't want to be too unrealistic and be like, I'm gonna do a 10K month and I haven't even did like a 5K. So I wanted to at least like double that. So I think 2,500 is more than double. That's like one and a half. Um, does that make sense? Well, 20, whatever it is. It's more than what I originally was doing. I feel like it kind of does make me a little uncomfortable. And that's how I did it. I think when people say, "Oh, you're supposed to make goals that scare you," I think they also have to be realistic. And I think it would be unrealistic for me to think I'm going to go from 1K to 10K in a month. It is possible, but I think for me in my position right now, I think it isn't something that I see myself doing just based off of the goals I set and like my time commitment. So you really have to be self-aware and know like where you are at currently, and then make a goal that you can actually reverse engineer and see yourself hitting those things. So when I said $2,500 a month, I know that's two clients paid in full and one person with deposit down on my product. And I know I don't want to include core sales. So mine is mine is structured out in a way that I can actually see myself doing it, and it's not just some arbitrary number that I don't have I don't have a plan to get to. So I think you have to have a plan and also be realistic, but also not be too playing too small, if
Yeah,
that makes
no,
sense.
for sure. No, that makes absolute sense. I was just because I feel like you hear a lot about you can go from 0 to 5K in 60 days, or with all the Instagram ads that you see or ads that you see on. And I think sometimes, yeah, maybe once in a while, like for every one person, but the other 50 people that try that same thing might be struggling. So I think just how you laid it out and how you have a plan to get there, I think that was a good format, a good message to send. So I just wanted to expand on that a little bit.
I don't think it's impossible to go from like one to like 1,000 to 10K or like the stuff you be seeing online. It is possible, but I think it's like it's circumstance dependent, and it also depends on what level of business you're at. So I think that's where like the self-aware component comes in, and like figuring out your situation and what's feasible for you to do. Because if
Mhm.
your prices are like 350 a month, you're gonna have to sign a lot of clients. And if you're not able to take that on, then how are you even doing that? I think you just really need to consider your situation. That's why I think it's so important for you to vet like some of these sources out when they're promising certain things, because you could promise that all you want, but if it doesn't align with your lifestyle, your situation, it don't matter what they're saying. You're not gonna do it. Um,
Absolutely.
yeah. Any more questions on or comments on my goals?
Um, with do you ever feel like you have like a huge list of goals and then it gets like overwhelming, like all the things that you say you're gonna accomplish, and then you're like, how am I gonna do this?
Yep. That's I didn't feel like that this year, but I felt like last year, years before that, I was always like intentional about goal setting, but I was just naming like some big things I want to do and not really knowing exactly how I'm gonna get there. And it was just like throwing stuff at the wall, like, yeah, I would like to accomplish that. But um I think that I do better with focusing on a couple things and like knowing what those things are, and then reverse engineering back to how I'm gonna achieve that. And that makes it a lot less overwhelming, because you could break down a goal and hit on like do something every day and every week to get you to that goal, and that makes it feel like I said, less overwhelming and more doable.
Hmm.
So at one time I did feel like that. This year around, I don't feel like overwhelmed with it, because I've already been doing it. It's just more so about the consistency and like increasing the frequency at which I'm doing it. And then I think that will ultimately get me to my goal. So it doesn't feel overwhelming this time, but in the past, I have when I was just throwing stuff at the wall.
For sure.
What about
For
you?
sure. Um, I think very similarly. I think when we had our conversation with Chris on the pod, he was talking about like we asked his 5-year goals and he broke it down to like family, business, and stuff like that. I thought just kind of narrowing down on the big picture and then finding how you're going to fulfill or fill those buckets, I thought was a good way of thinking about it. And I think that's what helped me with coming up with mine. So I think just trying to narrow it down to the most important priorities and then figuring out how you're going to fill those buckets of need. I think makes it less overwhelming. Because I think in the past I've had like a long list of like I'm going to do all these things in a year. The other year is a lot of time, and it is a lot of time. But I think it's easy to get lost in the sauce of trying to make sure everything is done. But if you have a couple of things that you're focused on, it helps you stay on the path of what you're trying to accomplish.
I agree. It's kind of like what we do for patients. You want to be able to do this, where you're gonna hit this milestone, that milestone, and then you'll get there. As opposed
Mm-hmm.
to saying, "Oh, you're gonna do something that you never even thought you could do." Like that is very overwhelming and not encouraging at all.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Baby steps.
What are your
Baby
goals?
My goals, I split it into 3 categories of business, health, and personal. So starting with business, I want to create an online business in 2023. Um, and how I'm gonna do it is it's kind of starting with the mentorships that I've gone in and using that to apply concepts and use that to as content for social media. And then from that content, then can generate conversations and find out pain points with people related to their basketball performance and what they're trying to get better at. And then once those conversations are being had or have been had, then it can capture their contact information, trying to understand their pain points individually, and then over delivering on the free content that's out there, which I think then allows me to get better at the written communication, the audio, the video performance. Because I'll be honest, my video content right now, I just record stuff and put it out there. I don't be like editing like that. So maybe put more of an emphasis on video, but I'm more focused on just like getting content out and making sure that it's valuable to whoever finds it. And then once those pain points have been discussed, now it's creating solutions to those pain points. And then once that solution's been made, create a funnel or website and direct their attention to the solution. So now we talked about your pain points. We talked about what you're trying to get back to. Now here is the solution and how this is how we're going to address it. It's going to address everything that we discussed. So and then just creating a community off that, just trying to solve problems and then giving people the solution to their problems. So that's how I'm gonna do it, how I'm gonna start it, and then I want to create an ebook for Hoopers by my birthday. This is the only one I put a date on. I think the rest will be worked on throughout the year. But I think I just want to be able to get the writing juices, work on writing a little better, get my writing skills a little better, and how I communicate over written words. So creating a visual in an ebook to pinpoint 5 different characteristics or qualities that I think every hooper should have in their bag to improve their performance. So that's what I'm planning to do before the summer. So that's the first business goal. For Kia Ming, kind of like yours, continue with 1 episode a week. Reach out to at least 1 person a week as potential guests, just to kind of make sure that we can still network with other people and get to hear other people's stories. And like you, build the team for video editing, social media, posting, and podcast editing, just to free up some more time. And then health, committing to 30 minutes extra as a day. So I've been on like 2 to 3 workouts, 2 to 3 workouts a week, but I think just a little more bite-sized throughout the day will help, just with like overall getting away from my phone, feeling a little better. And just continuing to practice what you preach, try out different things, and feeling good about how I feel in the morning. So trying to be more consistent with getting some more movement throughout the day and not just on the days that I lift. Still working on dunking. Dunking is going to happen. I know Key likes to flame me for how old I am, but I'm close and it's gonna happen. And I've been working with Jeremiah on how this is going to happen. So it's slowly it's happening. So be on the lookout for that. And then trying to cut down on fast food to less than 4 times a month. Because when we got the late basketball games and stuff, I don't want to be making like taking the time to make food at night and then wind down. So I'll be going to like McDonald's or something to get something in my system real quick and then get ready for bed. So I'm trying to cut that down and maybe it's preparing meals earlier throughout the day, maybe it's eating before, maybe it's having a snack at the game, maybe it's a combination of the things, but just trying to cut down on the fast food. And then the last one, personal. Read one book a month and actually apply it. We talked about how we're reading a book together, and I'm not really concerned about the quantity of books that I read. It's more about the how I apply it to whatever is at hand, whether it's for myself, whether it's for work, whether it's for business, whether it's for whatever it may be. I just want to get really good at applying the things that I'm learning and not just intaking in knowledge. Use the last 30 minutes of the night to think about, reflect on what went well, what could be improved, and how I'm going to plan out the next day. I think I spend a lot of time on my phone, so trying to just wind down, relax, and look back at the day that I just had, and then use the mornings to think about not being on my phone and just kind of get my mind right. So 30 minutes at night, 30 minutes in the morning is how I want to start. And then just plan my way out of Alaska. What needs to be done to get there. The money milestones I'm trying to hit, but it's hard to project all that when you don't know what unexpected things are going to happen. So I think the plan is still to move out of here. It's just a question of when it happens, not a matter of if. So those are my goals.
I like those. Do you feel like the content, like staying on top of your content and like finding your audience's pain points is gonna make creating the ebook easier?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Go ahead.
I was gonna say because there's things I already have in mind of what I would think, but I think if you can make it tailored towards a certain individual, a certain like population, then that if you're speaking the same language, then it just makes it easier for you to deliver on what people are having as their problems. So absolutely.
Yeah, I agree because I remember I made an ebook and it was basically what I thought people wanted. People liked it, but they were like, "You should have included this, this, and that," and I wasn't even thinking of it. So I think giving yourself the weekly or monthly goal of creating content each week, and then also having conversations, you'll have a better idea of what your person wants, and then that'll also help your conversion on selling the ebook or whatever you decide to do with it. So I think that's dope. And then I had another question. This is happening to me again. Oh, when it comes to moving out of Alaska, do you feel like how do you feel in terms of being prepared? Like I know it's not if, it's more so when. Do you have like any anxiety about making a move and like how long it's gonna take?
Short answer is yes. I think I have a tendency to think about the worst case scenario. Like what if I can't survive? What if I can't financially afford it? What if something happens and I'm not able to, come up with X or accomplish X, and I have to be stuck. So that's what comes to my mind first. I wouldn't want to move and then I have to be like, I have to come back because I wasn't ready for it. I think that's what I think about first. But then I also think about, well, what if things go right? Like, what if I, am able to enjoy, like, find a great job and able to find a nice place that fulfills all the needs that I have, and still can, check off all the boxes, and I'm still progressing to where I want to be. So I've trying to just shift to more of that, but still prepare for if I think what's going to go into it is making sure that when it is time to go, that at least you can cover all that you need to cover, whether it's moving expenses, whether it's down payments, whether it's all that stuff. And if that's all smooth, then I think the rest of it you just got to figure out, like taking a risk, or not a risk, but taking a new opportunity, and being ready to go all 10 toes down, and got to figure a way out. Got to figure out a way to make it work. So that's the mindset I'm going at. But obviously a little scared, but I think it makes it a little easier having gone to Boston for PT school and moving away that first time, and just getting an idea of what it's like to live by myself and be in a new place. And so the idea of moving, that part is not scary, because I've already done it before. I have an idea what to expect. I think it's just more of the financial aspect, and make sure everything else is on point.
Yeah, I think that would be my biggest thing too. But I feel like with the goals you had for 2022, you probably set yourself up pretty good to be prepared for when it happens. So I think you'd be good.
Yeah, that's the goal. That's the
I'm
goal.
excited to have a place to visit besides Alaska.
Yeah, look, you can still visit Alaska too, just in the summertime.
Yeah, it's just summertime. Maybe that'll be on my list for 2023 summer.
Yeah, you ain't the only one. I got a lot of people that are trying to come up in the summertime. So pull up. Anyone else wants to come out to Alaska? I got you.
You can drink the tap water.
Huh?
Drink the tap water, right?
Yeah, you can drink the tap water.
I can drink the tap water here.
Good for you. It's not the same.
I'm just kidding. I'm not doing that. No, but on a serious note, if you guys are listening to this and whether on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, if you're seeing a reel, make sure to comment or let us know what your goals are so that you take time to reflect and you're able to kind of give yourself a plan for going into the new year. And then when 2023 is at its end, you can look back and be like, did I accomplish that? What I could do better? Um, and just make a plan for your future. So let us know what your goals are. And if you like this episode, any other ideas you have for 2023 for us.
All right. And we'll catch y'all on the next episode. Peace.